Feeling invisible can sting, especially when your efforts go unnoticed or unacknowledged. But what if that sense of being overlooked is your greatest advantage? It might not feel like it now, but being ignored holds a unique power that can transform your life. Far from being a setback, it's a secret weapon that few realize they have. By the end of this video, you'll get to deeply understand 10 compelling reasons why being ignored isn't the end. It's the beginning of becoming unstoppable. Let's start. 1. You learn to build without applause. When people ignore you, something fascinating happens. You stop relying on external validation. The world isn't clapping for you, so you're forced to clap for yourself. This is where true resilience is born. Most people quit when no one is watching because they're addicted to recognition. But when you learn to operate in silence, you become dangerous. Imagine a lion hunting in the wild. It doesn't announce itself. It moves quietly, unnoticed, until it's ready to strike. That's the power of being ignored, while others are busy chasing applause. You're outworking them, building skills and discipline behind the scenes. And when the moment comes to show what you've built, the same people who ignored you will be left speechless. Keep your head down, stay quiet, and keep building. 2. You realize nobody owes you anything. Being ignored forces you to face one harsh truth. Nobody owes you attention, respect, or recognition. At first, this realization can feel like a slap in the face. But once you accept it, it's liberating. You stop wasting time feeling entitled to someone else's acknowledgement and start focusing on earning it, or better yet, realizing you don't even need it. Think about it. The people you admire the most didn't wait for someone to hand them a spotlight. They created their own stage. When no one's watching, you have a choice. Sulk in self-pity or get to work. The sooner you accept that the world doesn't owe you anything, the sooner you'll start taking control of your life. 3. You become immune to criticism. Here's the funny thing about being ignored. The people who ignore you don't bother criticizing you either. And while that might feel like rejection at first, it's actually a gift. You get the rare chance to operate without the burden of constant judgment. This freedom allows you to experiment, fail, and grow without anyone nitpicking your every move. Most people are paralyzed by the fear of being judged. They never take risks because they're terrified of criticism. But when you're ignored, you're free to take massive risks. No one cares enough to scrutinize your failures, and that's your edge. You can afford to try things others won't because they're too worried about what people will think. By the time they notice you, you'll be miles ahead. 4. You stop wasting time on fake relationships. When people ignore you, you quickly learn who truly values you. No one can fake care for long. It always reveals itself. This painful lesson might leave you with fewer people in your life, but the ones who remain are genuine. You're no longer wasting time on people who only stick around when it's convenient for them. Think about how much energy people spend trying to maintain relationships that aren't real. When you're ignored, you don't have to play those games anymore. You save your energy for people who actually matter and stop chasing those who don't. In a world full of superficial connections, being ignored gives you clarity. It's a blessing disguised as rejection. 5. You develop ruthless independence. When no one has your back, you have no choice but to learn how to stand on your own. Being ignored strips you of any illusions that someone else will save you. You become your own safety net, your own cheerleader, and your own lifeline. This level of independence is rare, and it makes you unstoppable. The truth is, most people are fragile because they're dependent on others for emotional support, validation, and even motivation. When you're ignored, you don't have the luxury of leaning on anyone. You become self-reliant, and that's where real power lies. Once you learn to thrive alone, no one can take that strength away from you. 6. You stop trying to please everyone. When you're ignored, you realize something profound. It doesn't matter how hard you try. Some people will never care. This harsh truth is actually freeing. You stop bending over backward to win approval from people who will never give it to you. Instead, you start living for yourself. Think about how much energy people waste trying to be liked by everyone. It's exhausting and pointless. When you're ignored, you're forced to confront the reality that not everyone will like you, no matter what you do. And once you accept that, you're free to focus on what actually matters, living a life that makes you proud. 7. You become a master of focus. Being ignored removes distractions. No one's paying attention to you, so there's no pressure to perform for an audience. This gives you the rare chance to focus entirely on your goals. While others are busy seeking validation, you're locked in, grinding away at what really matters. The ability to focus is one of the most underrated superpowers in today's world. Most people are constantly distracted by social media, meaningless conversations, and the need for attention. When you're ignored, you don't have those distractions. You can channel all your energy into becoming the best version of yourself. And trust me, the results will speak for themselves. 8. You learn how to handle rejection like a pro. Being ignored is rejection in its purest form. It's a reminder that not everyone will value you, no matter how hard you try. But instead of breaking you, this experience can make you bulletproof. You learn to handle rejection without letting it crush your spirit. Most people crumble at the first sign of rejection. They take it personally and let it derail their confidence. But when you're ignored regularly, you develop a thick skin. You stop seeing rejection as a reflection of your worth and start seeing it as a natural part of life. This resilience will serve you in every area of your life, from relationships to career to personal growth. 9. You become the underdog. Everyone fears. There's something powerful about being underestimated. When people ignore you, they assume you're not a threat. This gives you the element of surprise. While they're not paying attention, you're quietly working, improving, and preparing to outpace them. In a world where everyone is obsessed with showing off, your silence becomes your superpower. You're not wasting energy on trying to prove your worth. Instead, you're channeling it into becoming undeniably better. The most dangerous people in the world are the ones you don't see coming. When you're ignored, you have the advantage of operating in stealth mode. By the time people realize what you're capable of, it's too late. You've already surpassed them. While they were distracted, you were focused. They were playing checkers, and you were mastering chess. The underdog who refuses to stay down is the one who changes the game completely. Never underestimate the power of being underestimated. Here's the beauty of being an underdog. The world gives you nothing, but you take everything. The expectations are low, so the pressure is minimal. This allows you to play your own game without interference. While others crumble under the weight of scrutiny and inflated egos, you thrive in the shadows. Success becomes sweeter when you've earned every inch of it, and when you finally emerge, your victory becomes a story they'll never forget. Being the underdog isn't a disadvantage. It's a weapon. Use it. 10. You realize you don't need anyone's approval. Here's the ultimate, most important lesson of this video. Being ignored teaches you that you don't need anyone's approval to succeed. The only person who needs to believe in you is you. Once you internalize this truth, you become unstoppable. Most people spend their lives chained to the opinions of others, letting external validation dictate their self-worth. When you're ignored, you're forced to break those chains, and that's where real power begins. Most people waste their lives seeking validation from others. They let other people's opinions dictate their choices, their happiness, and their self-worth. But when you're ignored, you're forced to find validation within yourself. This independence makes you immune to the whims of others, giving you the freedom to chart your own path. Suddenly, their approval, or lack of it, becomes irrelevant. You don't just stop caring, you start thriving. The moment you stop seeking validation is the moment you start living authentically. Every choice you make becomes about what's right for you, not what will impress someone else. This mindset not only liberates you, but also terrifies those who once ignored you because they see a version of you that doesn't need them anymore. True freedom comes from self-approval, and once you've found it, nothing can stop you. If you have made it this far, let us know what you think in the comment section below. For more interesting topics, make sure you watch the recommended video that you see on the screen right now. Thanks for watching.